Boise's police department has been under an interim chief for a little more than 5 weeks now. The former Chief Ryan Lee was asked to resign by Mayor McLean about 24 hours after a 7 Investigates report detailed a number of complaints filed by officers about the chief. The 6-figure severance aside, what kind of a mark has been left on the city and the mayor, for that matter, is a lot of the questions. Joe Paris sat down with Boise Mayor Lauren McLean this afternoon to find out what she is looking for in the new chief. And their conversation, it started with the topic of morale at BPD.
I believe in all the conversations that we've had, my team has had with the department, that there's a lot we need to do to support our officers, because policing right now is difficult. Our city's growing, there's so many expectations on our officers. So as the leader of the city, as we think about what's next with the search, one of the key tenets of the search is going to be to ensure we have a leader that can support our officers and really believes in the way that we do policing here, and that's policing the Boise way.
We've heard from officers, and we saw on television, there was clearly some issues inside Boise Police. There was people unhappy. Do you think it's in a better spot today than it was 6 weeks ago?
I really appreciate that interim chief Ron Winegar has agreed to serve alongside and in partnership with Deputy Chief Brooks to help us address the needs of the department so we can really support our officers. And tough times, challenges create opportunities. So now we have the opportunity to truly understand what our officers need to continue to do the great job that they've always done, how we invest in and support a department as our city grows, and then how we find the right leader that can both work with the department to support them, that believes in policing the Boise way as we do it, that can be a partner to council to ensure that we continue to increase investment in our police department as our city grows.
As you jump into the search here, what are you looking for as in mayor, and what do you think the city needs as a police chief? What type of person, what type of leader are you looking for?
I am looking for a leader, and I should say I'm looking for a leader in partnership with both the city council and the community and the department. We will all work together to find the next leader for the Boise Police Department that understands how important policing the Boise way is. And policing the Boise way is grounded in what we've always done and which has always kept our community safe. It's both ensuring that officers have time to forge deep connections with our residents and holding people accountable when they commit crimes. And so in order to meet the demands of the moment as our city grows, to increase investment in policing as I've done for the last 3 years, we're going to need a leader that's committed to the connections that we cherish here in our community, that's committed to the connections that our officers cherish with our community, and that has the skills to help us continue to increase our investments in officers, in training, in the tools and support this department needs to be successful.
It's always natural for these types of conversations when you're searching for a city leader to become, is it an insider or an outsider? And we've heard a lot of opinions from a lot of people on this. Do you as mayor have an opinion on if it's an insider or outsider, or do you not care?
I am seeking the best leader for this department and for our community. And I believe at the end of the day, that is what everyone is searching for. And yes, there's a lot of opinions on that. But I believe that if we do the search right, if we engage our officers and include what it is they need in a leader, we engage the public and have a conversation about the safety of our community, the priority that we have to maintain the safety of our community, and how that means that we have to invest with a commitment and an understanding of the importance of connection. That leader will rise through this process. Internal, external, what's most important is that this person leads our department and community in policing the Boise way.
As I know you're well aware, there was a lot of opinions in the community about what happened at Boise Police, and those are kind of behind us now. But from a pure, response point, what was your impressions of how much the city of Boise cared and how much feedback you did get about that? Because it wasn't like this flew under the radar. There's a lot of people that seem to care.
Public safety is the highest priority for all of us. And so the support that we provide our officers, the leadership of a department matters. I'd want that to matter, right? Like I expect it to matter, I'd want it to matter for the community. And we share the value of public safety, the value of supporting our officers, the value of knowing our officers, seeing them in community. And so as we look ahead to the next leader of this department, that value that Boiseans place on public safety the trust Boiseans have in our police department is of utmost importance. As our city grows, we've got to make sure that we maintain that by finding the right leader, supporting our officers who protect and serve on a daily basis, and investing in them in the future.
All right, so how will this whole process go of finding a new chief of police? Well, the city of Boise actually has hired a recruiting firm that's going to help them find a new permanent chief, and they're going to work alongside members of the Boise City Council, members of the community like you at home, the police union, as well as city leaders. And Brian, they're expecting that process to take up to a year. So it's going to be some time.
Okay, but we've just, I want to say relatively, just gone through this. I mean, Chief Lee was only hired in July of 2020. Prior to that, they looked for him. How is it different this time around?
So one thing that I think a lot of us might have forgotten in between now and the pandemic, it was actually Mayor Beater's staff that started the search for what ended up being Chief Lee. So when the mayor was elected, she came in and the process has basically already been started. So in terms of what makes this different, it's her administration now that gets to start the process from the beginning and see it all the way through. When Chief Bones left, that was back in 19, it was a much different world and it was a much different situation than what you would see here in 2022. So in terms of the differences, it'll be a much different group of people tackling this issue, but it's also a much different world than the situation in 2019 when you're looking to replace Chief Bones. So we'll see what happens with this recruiting firm. I'm under the impression this is going to take some time because they want to make sure they don't just have a chief of police, they want to have the right one.
As you said, a permanent one. All right,
Permanent
thank you very much, Joe.